Alright guys, so this is a, I don't know what you want to call it, a 2022 prep update. Maybe I do more videos like this, I don't know. I want to talk specifically about gas prices right now. As everybody knows, we've talked about it so many times on every single episode of the podcast I've been doing over the last 3 weeks since the Ukraine-Russia conflict, invasion, war, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. Obviously, gas prices were already on the rise. They were about $1 more than they were back when Biden took office. They've been steadily rising, and now they've shot up at an exponential rate all across the board, all across the country. And I want to talk about this in the sense of what you should be doing about it, and not necessarily what you should be doing about it in regards to gas, because really there's only so much you can do about it in regards to gas. If you have a job, if you need to go to the grocery store, if you need to go places, you're going to need to use gas. Now, maybe you can save fuel by, I don't know, pulling a Mayor PDB and buying an electric car, which most people honestly can't afford right now. Or maybe you buy a scooter or a motorcycle, I don't know. There are things obviously you could do to save gas. Most of them are impractical for most of us. So you just kind of have to go with whatever vehicles you have, maybe try and drive a little better, and that's it, right? But I want to talk about what the gas prices that we're experiencing right now are going to do to your life outside of just the price at the pump. Now, real quick, I'm going to show a graph of what gas prices have done over the last 18 months. And in this graph, you'll be able to see where, as of the beginning of 2021, where we get into the transition between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and we can kind of see the exponential rate at which it's being pushed up. Because a lot of people are trying to tell you that the Ukraine war and Russia and Putin and all this stuff are the reason why inflation and gas prices have gone up. But if you look at gas prices throughout the last 18 months, these gas prices became ridiculous long before the Ukrainian issue, crisis, invasion, whatever, and inflation was as well. So what I want to talk about is things that hopefully you've already thought of, but if you haven't, here you go. Gas prices affect everything, and people who will tell you they don't, and there are plenty of people, specifically on the left right now for some reason, that are trying to convince you that gas prices aren't going to affect really much in your life outside of maybe it affects inflation a little bit because truckers have to pay a little more for fuel. Well, yeah, that's certainly true, but first of all, they're not paying a little more for fuel, they're paying a lot more for fuel. Believe me, I've been talking to people who are actually truck drivers who are paying ridiculous amounts of money on a daily basis to transport goods and services to you. And that price is going to be reflected in the already increasing inflation we've seen over the last year to 18 months. On top of that, people will tell you that gas prices, well, just go buy an electric car because gas prices are gas prices. Just use electricity. What people don't understand is gas prices are going to affect electricity. And I don't know what the exact percentage is, but oil does make up 8% of how we get electricity in this country. But even further than that, even if you take what prices might increase due to oil, think about all the other industries that are affected by oil that have to do with other ways that we get electricity. Think about coal, natural gas. These are some of the two of the biggest ways, and nuclear, that we get our electricity in this country. Those things are also affected by oil prices, by transportation prices. Everything. To the propane tank that you're going to go buy to go barbecuing this weekend is going to be affected. That is a petroleum byproduct. That is what LP is. That is what propane is. It is a petroleum byproduct. Okay? Everything is going to go up. So, why do I bring all this up? Inflation has already been a thing for a while. We've talked about it many times. Gas prices going up while they're shooting up starkly right now. They've been steadily rising for the last year. So what's the point of this video? The point of this video is to think outside the box. Do you have extra propane? Have you listened to everything that's been happening last year but not really paid much attention? Try going to a Costco or a Sam's Club right now, or even your local grocery store. And while we've seen inflation prices go up, and while we've seen some empty shelves over the course of the last year to 18 months, it's much, much worse now. Go into a Sam's Club, go into a Walmart, look at the lines. Look at the way people are actually stocking up in different ways. More than just your average prepper are now starting to buy bulk food, and that's going to affect you. It's going to affect prices because prices are going to go up when demand goes up. It's also going to affect availability. More people are now actively looking for products that normally they wouldn't look for because most people shop on a weekly basis to keep food in their home, and now they're going to be shopping on a monthly or even yearly basis trying to stock up on as much food as possible. So do you have the things you need to have? If you do not, go and get them now, period. End of story. If you haven't done it yet, and even if you have, do it now or do more of it now, depending on where you're coming from. Now is the time to act. There are bad times coming, and I don't know what they entail. I'm not a fortune teller, okay? But inflation is going up sharply. Oil is going up sharply. We have conflict in the world. We have the makings of a wonderful potential World War III, whether it actually happens or not. Just the speculation is going to drive the cost of living up. Are you paying attention yet? Buy the things you need. Food. Buy extra gas now. Go buy some extra 5-gallon gas tanks. Fill up a couple of them. Fill up 4 of them. Fill up 6 of them. However many you can afford. Go fill them up now, because guess what? Tomorrow, gas isn't going to be any cheaper. And the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. It's not going to get any cheaper. Not anytime soon. So get what you can while you can. Do you have extra food? Do you have extra water? Do you have extra propane tanks? Maybe pay up on your electricity bill a little bit. Maybe pay up on your rent or your house payment or whatever it is. Fix your car. Buy a freezer. There are 100 things you should be doing right now. Right now, times are bad. We've been saying that for over 2 years now, ever since COVID started. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse for the average citizen in this country, for the average family, for the average homeowner, for the average person who owns a vehicle or who just wants to be able to buy food. Things are getting worse every day. They're worse today than they were before COVID, during the middle of COVID, or even just 6 months ago. They're worse now. The question is, are you ready? And if not, will you be?